Hello everyone! Today we're going to talk about the interesting connection between fear, separation and pain. But when we are addressing these three areas, how often do we make the connection that they're actually connected? And in my Swedish channel I say this all the time, and that is you can't experience fear without at the same time also experiencing some form of pain and some sense of being separated and feeling alone. And you can't experience pain without at the same time feeling some sense of separation and fear. And you can't feel separated and alone without also feeling some form of pain and fear. They tag along. It's the same energy taking different disguises, but it is the same. So if you manage to get rid of one of these, you get rid of them all. One example that I often give is that if you are experiencing physical pain, the amount of physical pain that you are in is also going to decide the amount of fear you're feeling and the amount of separatedness that you are feeling. So if you, for example, bump in your toe into the wall or something, you're not going to be terribly afraid and you're not going to be feeling terribly separated. It's going to be a small amount of it. And the way to get rid of that pain as soon as possible can be done if you know that these three come together. And while it is extremely difficult to target pain directly, and it is also extremely difficult to target fear directly, what you can target is the feeling of being separated. So I often give the example that if you want to get rid of pain as soon as possible, imagine that you're standing on a beautiful field, holding hands in a circle together with other people. And feel the love and the comfortness and the welcomeness in this union. And you imagine this very vividly in your head while you're feeling pain. And watch as the pain gives way. And I also suggest, together with this, that you say the words, I'm innocent. I was never separated. I don't attack. I never judge. Love, acceptance, and forgiveness. Once again, I'm innocent. I've never been separated. I don't attack. I don't judge. Love, acceptance, and forgiveness. So why would it help to say those words and at the same time imagining coming together? Because it breaks the sense of separatedness that always exists together with pain and fear. And it even helps by saying something simple as I accept if you're experiencing pain, because even that removes distance. So even acceptance will actually remove the sense of separation. While acceptance is maybe not always the best solution, it kind of works immediately. So even if you are in temporary pain and you give acceptance to the hurt, it kind of eases the hurt. It lessens the hurt. When you feel afraid, you can almost picture yourself fending off against a bunch of lions, fending off with a little stick, all alone, targeted, attacked, you yourself alone, no one else is there. It's even impossible for you to feel afraid unless you at the same time feel that comprehension of being separated. You can't hold fear and togetherness at the same time. You can't. For an easy example, you walk in a dark forest and you're feeling a bit afraid, a bit unease, maybe looking around, checking out there's not some danger there, and a friend joins you. And just like that, no matter who that friend is, you feel a bit more calm, right? So if you are to experience fear at all, you have to feel separated. And it all also always comes with a sense of pain, no matter what that pain is. If you would be afraid of, like, if you were having stage fright, you would feel this sense that everyone is looking at you. You feel this small. Once again, you are the target. You're separated from everyone else. So you have the acute sense of fear, whatever, how you would describe that fear. It comes with the image of you fending off. This is the crowd, this is the danger, and you are a little small you, and you have to fend for yourself. You might die. And you feel the pain. No matter how that stress and fear manifests in your body, it's some kind of tension. It's extremely uncomfortable being afraid. And of course, it goes away once you defeated that fear. And you don't defeat fear by facing the fear, you are facing the separation. So by joining with the audience, feeling that, for example, you're welcomed, it's a win-win. They are welcoming you to contribute to the group, and they want you to do it, and you want to do it. So you're together. There's no more hostility feeling, or there's no cause anymore to be afraid. So once we get into our head that these three stick together, things become way more interesting and way more solvable. Like everything that is getting at you in life is something that you could actually do something about. You're not powerless anymore. And it will also reveal some secrets about life that we will also get into in this video. So when you are still fighting or running away, you're still keeping the separation. So there's still pain there. There is still fear, right? If you are in a constant fighting off, and I can't think of any better example than an actual war. So there is constant separation, while in war there's constant fear. No one is brave going into war. And there is pain, of course. It's the whole point, right? Or you're running away. And if you're running from someone, of course, there is separation. Of course, there is fear and pain. Because you're never at ease. Acceptance could be, okay, I surrender. Acceptance could be anything, but you stop trying. Whatever it is, you accept it. And sometimes acceptance is something very good because you've been fighting for something that you were so afraid of coming to meet. But sometimes acceptance can also be something as acquiescence. If you were living in a very suppressive, oppressive government, and you were tired of running from them or having to fight them or constantly being attacked because you didn't agree with them and there was a separation, you might just think, okay, I join them. They have to be good. They have to be good. I embrace it that they want everything good with me. And you do that not because you logically agree with them, but because you want to end pain. You want to remove the separation. And then you might think, okay, Susan, well, this explains it. As long as I get rid of the separation, no more fear and pain. No, it doesn't work like that. Because if the resolution or acceptance is something that you do not actually agree with, it's causing separation to yourself instead. So now you might join the government or the abusive relationship you were in because it was too difficult to leave that person. And temporarily, the pain is gone. Temporarily. But you now have a separation to yourself. You're lying to yourself. And that fear will also manifest, and that pain will manifest, and it will continue. So you actually didn't solve anything. And if you keep denying it because you're trying to keep this truth on the surface level, you are actually creating this blockage and trauma that all of us are already suffering from, hence the fear that keep popping up. So there's actually no getting around this, but there is a solution. I wouldn't be doing this video otherwise. If we take one step further than this, and yeah, we are going to take one step further than this, I suggest that the fear you are experiencing in your life, and we all do it, we all still have fear and feeling alone and feeling pain. The fear and the pain doesn't come from the outside. It's coming from within. And that makes all the differences in the world. It comes from within. And the reason why it comes from within is because it's something there that we do not dare to look at. It's something that we don't want the answer. It's a blockage. It's a trauma. And I will get into that as well. And that thing is what keep generating fear that we're experiencing on the outside, while it's not actually coming from the outside. And my suggestion is that everyone is traumatized to some degree. If we were completely transparent, we would not have experiencing fear. And we would not experience separation. And you can now, if you wish, pause this video and come up with anything that you may be afraid of. Any sort of fear that can come to your mind. And I guarantee you the same concept that I just talked about will apply to that fear. Can you imagine a fear where you don't feel separated? Or where there is no such thing as pain involved? And can you see how they all stick together? And how the solving of this fear always in some way are related to breaking the separation to a coming together, a resolution of some sort. So better than anything, and the real solution is understanding. And the idea that we feel separation at all is not because we are stupid and incompetent in understanding. It is because we don't want to. The whole thing with carrying a trauma and that we block it from ourselves, we suppress it, we have it in our subconscious and we don't want to know about it, we especially do not want to look at it. If I can't look at it, then how can I begin to understand it? So the steps in becoming completely free are thus these. First, I have to face the fear, which means I have to face pain. It's not that what scares us is fear. It's the pain that accompanies it. And yeah, the separation part is just part of it. But it's actually the pain that we detest. But it's all the same. Being separated causes pain. The one goes with the other. Pain, 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 pain. And fear is separation. So you get what I'm saying? It's all the same. So when we have to look at something that we don't want to look at, and why do we not want to look at it? Because it's painful. Something happened in our childhood, or even before that. And it was a thing that happened that caused you to feel extremely much fear, separation, and pain. And it's so traumatic that you can't keep on living while still remembering that. And you don't know what the solution is to deal with it. So we suppress it so we can keep on living, imagining that everything is fine and well in my house. Everything is peaceful here. Thank you so very much. So we put a smile on our face and we continue living. Yeah, you get what I'm saying. We're not really happy. Because you can't be happy if you live with fear and separation and pain. You can't. Really, you can't. The best way to end any sort of temporary situation with fear, pain, and separation is a resolution, and that is an understanding. If two parties are fighting, if they would become friends, start cooperating, start trusting each other, then that would immediately remove fear, pain, and separation, right? Or if someone quarreling, if you are having a quarrel with someone and you start getting along and you forgive each other, then everything feels super duper. Or if your body was ill, you were very afraid, you thought that you yourself was in danger, And all of a sudden you understand the causes of the disease and there is a really good cure and you can just solve it and everything is fine and well in your body again. A resolution. It's understanding, it's transparency, and it is a resolution. Everything is solved. Everything is understood. And mind you, even if I go back to previous lifetimes, usually before a battle, you try to give a moral boost to everyone. Because the whole point with that, we're doing this together. Remember, what you're doing this for is to get a sense of togetherness, family, group, higher purpose. Because when you feel that, you stay intact. You don't give in to fear and separation. So yeah, you could even go into a battle. And if that moral boost is strong enough and you know what you're fighting for, fear is gone. And you're going to perform way better. Before I understood this concept, that before we were going to battle and you were kind of like feeling a bit down in your own mood, like the night before a battle, and you were trying to like, let's all sit together and cheer up, and that wasn't enough, and everyone was staring out at the distance. We were all sitting there, but no one was there, if you understand what I mean. Everyone was separated, looking out at the distance. It's an awful feeling. Everyone is there, but I don't feel this togetherness. I don't feel this safety. We're all there, but no one is there. That is terrible for going out in war. Okay, maybe not the most joyful of explanations, but these are the experiences I have a lot of. So I just remember how it was. And it makes sense with all of this, that this is what you want to do. You don't want someone to give in to fear. The same if a really serious situation would happen, like the zombies would come rushing in through our doors. And you have this sense that some people, they will go crazy out of fear. They will scream and they will flex their arms up there and just scream and just run around like crazy chickens, right? And that would be the sign of someone completely given into fear, being separated completely. And if you're enough separated from yourself, you actually go crazy, incomprehensible. You can't even think straight. You need even to calm down to form a sentence and think. That's why some people just freeze when they become really afraid. They can't even think a thought. So you don't want people to go go so far on the fear stage so that they lose it. You want to make people stay together. So usually if something fearful happens, you try to calm them so they stay present with themselves and present with the people around here. Like, you know what I'm saying. And it's the same principle. So I can give any number of examples of how to make fears be solved, because the sense of separation is solved. And that's also why the fear is gone. The lions attacking you suddenly remembers that they only eat vegetables. Fear is gone. You are in agreement with each other. Let's go and fetch some vegetables to eat. Or, I don't know, an economical debt hanging over you that is stressing you and causing pain, right? The same there. All the fears feel the same. So even if it's an economical burden that you're experiencing, you're going to feel that you're alone in it, and you're going to feel the pain. But for some reason, the people that you own money calls you up and say, you know what? We forget all of this. You're free. Solved. Because there is an agreement. It's the same sense if you kind of know something isn't resolved with someone. You don't really feel at ease. Do you know what I mean? You can't really relax. Sleep tight in the night. Something is not resolved here. So you and I, we have a weird distance. You and I, we are not transparent. You and I, we do not understand. So wherever this separation is, your job is to detect it and start understanding it. This, my friend, will eventually remove all fear. And also all pain. Yeah, and we will have that discussion, including about the body. So, the fear of all fears. What is that? And no, I'm not gonna quote a research paper I saw that said talking in front of people apparently was more scary than facing death. Usually, I would say that the greatest fear of all fears is death. So let's apply this theory at death as well. What first comes to mind in regards to that is separation, the ultimate separation. I'm not talking about leaving your house and accidentally getting lost in the woods. I'm talking about leaving the house and never returning. For anyone, ever. Death. The scariest of the scariest. And what often comes together with separation, never showing up again? Fear of dying, hello. And also, can we push in pain together with it as well? Yeah, I think we can. Every time people even thinking of, I don't know, what if I don't imagine like just dying of old age and just falling asleep, I often see myself of ending up in an accident, and that will be painful, right? Having a disease that will be painful. We think of pain, the fear of pain. But it's not the fear of pain, it's the fear of separation. And that idea of that much separation causes pain. I kid you not, but you could actually defy any physical pain if you, for some reason, could defy all distances. Because these two hang together. And there are some people in history who actually managed to do this. So, why this fear of death? For once, is there transparency? No, I believe there is not. You're afraid because you do not know exactly. You might have theories, but you do not know exactly what happens when you die. And that amount of uncertainty is definitely gonna go hand in hand with the amount of fear and pain and separation associated with it. So if there is no understanding and no transparency, what else is going on? Death is your ultimate viewpoint of life itself. And right now you are separated from life. Or rather, you're not separated from life, but your perception is that you're separated from life. So remember what I said about saying these sentences. I'm innocent. I never been separated. I don't attack. I don't judge. Love, acceptance, and forgiveness. That's your way back, in a sense, to go past this trauma and to join life. If you can imagine getting along with life, what does that sentence mean to you? Getting along with life. You might say, why would I not get along with life? Yeah, but just walk with me here. For some reason, you don't really get along with life. You still seek the separation. And when we do that, life, of course, becomes a stranger to us. Because if I don't want to join life transparently and come in peace, life becomes like a stranger to me. And I am going to develop this distance to life, which must manifest itself as some kind of separation from life. And what better way to manifest that concept than being in a body that seemingly never can join life, but rather lives within life in some kind of weird relationship where you eventually die away and separate yourself from life. But this is not the true story. You're not separated from life. Nevertheless, that is your perception of your relationship to life and your relationship to yourself. So let's discuss some more about how all this weird concept came into us. I will not go into the fall in this video. I will for certainly discuss it more. But the primordial fall, I don't know what to call it. I explained it somewhat in the original relationship. It kind of manifests when we are children again. We get another chance to feel this ache of being separated. So remember what I said about sometimes when we can't really understand, we acquiescence. We just agree with the oppressor, even if we don't really agree. We pretend to go along We do as they say. We take orders. So as a kid, you will take orders from your parents. You will go along with what they say, or the school teachers. You will go along with it because really you do not know what else to do. And if you do that, you remove some of the pain. So adapting to this weird situation is actually better than the opposite. Of course, sometimes it may be so extremely bad that we remove ourselves from the situation, and I will discuss this phenomena as well. But most of us, we choose to stay. We don't run away. We choose to stay and we agree with whatever, so the distance is no longer, and I will do exactly as you say, and then it can be peace. Only, as I previously explained, it's not peace, because your agreement with something that you do not agree with, just to lessen the distance between you and the other person, causes a distance within yourself, because you're not now agreeing with yourself. You go against yourself. So decreasing this distance to maybe your parent and increasing this distance to yourself, but denying this and keep adapting to this that you do not agree with, then you continue out into this world still adapting to this dysfunctional relationship and agreement that you're not really agreeing with inside. And it leads to the result that you can't be yourself. So this fear, this distance is still here, and this distance is manifesting in your life. You will be afraid, and you will experience being alone, not really there, not really fulfilling yourself, because you can't reach self-fulfillment and this happiness, this relaxing of your system, this life. You can't experience it if this distance is still there, this denial, this I can't really understand this. It will become like you shut it away in your basement. It's like I say, you acquiescence. Maybe it's a government, maybe it was your parents, whatever it was, you just got along with it. And you say everything is peaceful and fine. I just follow these orders. Yeah, sure, I don't agree with them, but I just do it anyway. Everything is fine. You can't lie to yourself. What happens is you're always going to be a bit afraid of what is in the basement or in the attic. And you're going to get this like house alarm systems, and you're still going to be afraid that some burglar is going to enter in your house. And you're going to go out into the world not really trusting other people and not really trusting yourself, not really daring to take the steps that you might want to take in your life because you are afraid. And you can't face that fear on the outside, really. You have to be able to look at what you're so afraid of looking at within. And another concept that really needs to be understood to fully, I believe, embrace this and actually believing that you can fix this yourself is that there is no evil. Sorry if we need to have that concept in our heads and if we really need that to be the truth. But there is no evil. I have yet to see such a conception being made that pure evil is being born by life itself. It just doesn't compute like that. If you take music, for example, is there a music note or something that is evil? I don't think so. Is there a color that is evil? I don't think so. Is there a flower that is evil? I don't think so. So, why have you invented the concept of evil? And you say easily, because once I was hit by someone, or someone stole something from me, or I've seen really bad people doing really bad stuff, and why would there be serial killers or pedophiles or whatever has to be evil? No, there hasn't. I mean, any kind of person who does very negative stuff has been treated in a very bad way when they grew up. There is no exception. There is no such thing as a happy childhood and everything as well. And then you turn out creating more pain in other people, creating more separation and pain wherever you go. Why? There are many ways where you can tell yourself and explain to yourself that evil actually do not exist. One is this, that there are often very traumatized people who do evil things. Next is there is no logic behind being evil. It's not something that you can join and get I don't know, advantages from joining. It's no such thing. And then evil won and defeated light, and evil was evil happily ever after. There is no happily ever after for evil or darkness. Darkness, why we call something dark or evil, it's something that creates pain, that creates separation and fear, right? All these three things that we are trying here to get rid of. Why would there be a being who actually wanted this? Fear, separation, and pain. No one wants that. If you gave that to your body would just die. Like every well system, whether it's your body, whether it is water, whatever it is, needs harmony. It can't live like that. It's the anti-life. Nothing lives in it. It is not an exciting alternative system to function by. No. It's just the opposite of it. It's not a success road. It's where you end up if you really can't find any way to face your fears. That might be a path that you take. I explained this before when I tried to explain why you become a Satanist. It's for people who neither can't fight their fears or run away from it, and absolutely not resolve it. So they obey the fear. They say, you fear, you are my master. Of course you are my master, because if I can't defeat you and get rid of you, you are the upper hand here. You have the upper hand. It must be that I have to obey you, so I obey my fear. It's a no thing. It's a no thing. It simply isn't real. And we can never search for understanding if we believe that true evil really exists. Because then the solution would be kill the evil and everything will be well in the world. So that idea needs to get out of your head. If you are fighting an opposing party, you're definitely going to see them as monsters and evil. And they are going to view you the same. And I can say this from previous lifetimes as well. It's very hilarious when you look at it with a great distance. That you call the other group the enemies, and then you were born on that other side, and you call this group the enemies. Sure, people called me an enemy, but I never saw myself as evil. Everything I did to try to make something better or to protect my group or family. But they called it evil. So we do this. We call stuff evil because it's easier like that. Because if evil is real, then you don't have to be responsible. Because you can always explain that the reason why there is fear and pain in your life is because of that which is evil. But if there is no such thing that is evil, then you know that the solution is to get along and to understand. And you have to bring your part to understanding things. And if we look at fear and how often we perceive also that what we are afraid of is evil, have you ever felt that? So together with you being afraid of something and you at the same time feeling alone and feeling separated, you kind of perceive that what you are afraid of that will make you separated or feel pain is also evil. I laugh about this sometimes, but sometimes you can see a kid trying to play football or something, and in the beginning they're not so good at it. So I don't know, maybe their friends laugh or something, and of course that creates fear and separation and pain for them. So the football is evil, and the whole game is evil. And have you also listened to yourself how impossible something is when you're about to do something? Maybe it's a phone call, maybe it is something in your life, you want to follow a dream, and you come up with all these excuses to why it can't be done, right? It can't be done because of this and this, and it's so complex and you don't understand, it's so many different parts involved, and then you do it and you're super happy and you never talk about that it was complicated or anything. Because you were just trying to find a way to not face pain, what you perceived as pain. And then you don't have to be super smart to understand, you just have to be a bit less afraid to understand. So we have to be brave when facing pain. But we also have to explain to ourselves that whatever we are facing is not going to kill us. And we make this equation. We somehow believe that the truth that's going to be revealed is going to create a temporarily more separation. Because for some reason, we are entering unknown land. If there is something I don't know, I can fantasize anything about this which I don't know, which can create more fear and a sense of separation within me. So sometimes we may hesitate of taking a step because we are not prepared to change our life. And I want to give this example with the outside. It's the same when we are afraid of what's going on the outside, and we believe that this fear is coming from the outside, but it's actually not, because people are sleeping. They are not afraid of the outside. Not really. Not the same fear as you might have. You are afraid not because of what's happening on the outside, funny enough, but because your reality is about to change. Your perception of reality, everything is always coming from within, all the time. So when you are slowly waking up, truth, you want the truth, you can't handle the truth, it's slowly sipping in from within you, then truth is starting to reveal on your outside world as well. And you were afraid of looking at that because you don't know what that would change in you, and you're afraid of what you don't know. So it's like this it's gonna be difficult no matter how you do it. Looking at it's going to solve everything and make everything good again. But you at the same time gonna be afraid of looking at it before you know it. So before you know it, you're going to be afraid, but you can't know it unless you look at it. So, well, you get what I'm saying. So that's sort of what is producing your sense of fear, because your reality, your safety net is changing. And try to see what I mean by all this, and try to have it make sense for you also, because it will definitely change aspects in your life. So whenever we are safe, it is because we understand something. It's not a blind spot that we haven't seen. Like, if someone is very comfortable at their workplace, it is because they know their workplace. It's like, whatever happens, nothing is going to surprise them. They're not gonna freak out, but with whatever happening, they're gonna be able to handle it because they have so much experience. And because of that, they're not gonna feel like, because you are transparent, because you understand, because you feel you're gonna be able to handle it, you're not gonna be expecting to encounter anything that causes a sense of separation, fear, and pain. And if you are in a distress about something, and I don't know, your computer is beginning to crash or something, and you have an important work on your computer that you haven't saved, and you completely freaking out because you feel helpless. So the sense of helplessness making you feel small, making you feel afraid, separated, afraid, and the pain of everything going to literally hell, right? But then you get like this supercomputer guy who just knows everything about computers. Just take one quick look at it and say, this is no problem at all. I can fix this. And you can like, oh my God, I feel so safe because someone knows what they're doing. The same if your body is in trouble and someone understands how that works. The same in any kind of trouble, or someone is going to attack you and someone who's really good at fighting comes to your aid. You can relax. But that same type of comfortableness is something that you can find within yourself as well. And now you might say, but how, Susan, am I going to be good at all these different subjects out there? No, I'm not saying that that's the cure. That would be false reassurance. Because let's say that you lived here for some 100,000 years and you learned all the subjects in the world, so you were super expert in all the subjects, so you never have to be afraid. That still wouldn't solve this trauma inside, right? And that's what we're trying to get at. So it would resurface, manifest anyway, somehow. So you can't get away with it like that. It's more that it's the idea of learning transparency. And I have to say something in this regard as well. I haven't pondered about it so much, but when I use my seeing, my sight, I can pretty much look at anything that would be within my reach to see and understand. I probably couldn't see like impossible things that I am not meant to understand. But I can read any sort of person. Like, doesn't matter who you are. If you come here with 4 legs or 6 legs or doesn't matter what it is, I can read it. And I also am super comfortable that I can. It's not a human being that I couldn't understand if I looked close enough. So then it's like life opens up to you. You don't have to be, I was going to say, super smart or read a lot of books. It's just something that you see, something you know because you know. If you would look at animals and think that they have some senses automatically, it's kind of the same. It's like everything is in here within us. Like we get it, we already have it all. It's just we're not accessing it. We are keeping ourselves at a distance, the same with the fear of death and this concept of dying, which I literally don't have. You don't die. Simply no such thing. No one will ever turn off the light. You are always aware. And if I have to say this 1,000 times, leaving this place is not difficult. Being born to this place is. So if you're already here, then the worst is already done. Rest is easy peasy, but coming here is freakish because you're going from this to this. But leaving here, it's not even a big deal. So please, don't be afraid of dying. Be afraid of being born to this place, because that kind of feels like dying, I have to say. But that you've already managed, so congrats. The worst is over. But what I also want to say is, yes, I want to give this example as well, because I think I forgot it. When we are afraid of dying or whatever, we are afraid because it's not transparent to us. We don't know what's going to happen, right? What is going to happen if I cross to the other side? I don't know, so I should be afraid. And if I'm afraid, it's painful, and it's separation, and separation is pain, and separation is fear, and on it goes. You can't really comfort yourself with that thing going on in your head. What is the worst that could happen? Yeah, the worst that could happen is that I'm completely disappears. Yeah, that's a weird concept, and I guess it wouldn't be any pain either if you would be completely gone. But here we are, and I've seen you again, and I've seen you before, and yeah, you just always keep on bumping into people you already know. But, I mean, what else do you fear? That you would meet something evil. And then we have the concept of evil again. You would meet someone that doesn't want anything good happening to you. You would meet someone that is an opponent to life, that would harm you, that you would encounter something like that. And then, once again, we are facing your weird concept of evil, which is nothing else than the concept of your fear manifesting, like a weird idea in your head. So, your fear, if fear had a face, it would be evil. Just like the little kid saying the football is evil. Therefore, you have this imagination. Evil is the manifestation of your concept of fear. And what's also so bad with very big fear and the concept of evil is that if you feel that I can never understand this, I can never get along with those I'm fighting against, and the only way out of this is to kill them, right? That's a conclusion that it seems like a lot of the country's governments is reaching. If something is a problem, it's probably evil, I think it should be killed. Because would the governments, with the military, say that these people in this country, they are not evil, but we're gonna kill them anyway? You have to make them evil first, so obviously there are some kind of manifestation of fear. And the problem with this is that why do we do this? Why do we choose between running away or fighting? And fighting eventually needs to lead to death. Because you can't just continue fighting. That would be exhausting. You have to finish the fight, and you finish the fight by killing. Either you kill, or you run away, or you get killed. Why is this concept looping? Answer me. What do you think? To end separation. It's a weird concept because it doesn't work. If I'm perceiving a distance to this and it's causing me fear, if I run away to my own island, I can pretend that this doesn't exist and I never have to face it because it's never there. And if it's never there and I can't see it, then I guess there is no distance either because it doesn't exist. Running away is a sort of denial, and we know this. We kind of deny when we run away, you know? We haven't really solved anything. We're running away. But I can't see the object that I'm having a distance towards, so I'm completely fine here. I pretend that it doesn't exist. Or we kill. And what happens when you kill? Well, if I have a distance to this object like this, and if I kill it, I'm not going to throw away this water glass in this room. It makes no sense. Sorry, even for the purpose of educating or whatever. If I make this glass of water go away, then there's no distance either. So I kill it, and I'm rid of the problem. And of course, this doesn't work because it's not coming from the outside, it's coming from within. So it's going to resurface and manifest again and again. The only thing that's going to happen if you actually kill someone is that it's going to cause a lot of problem and PTSD in you, because when you kill life, you get a severe trauma of separation. Yeah, you get it exactly what you're trying to avoid. But I killed this object that was causing me so much distress. Yeah, because you failed to maybe be friends with it some reason. Whatever you do, please do not kill it. When you kill it and you kill life, every time you hurt life or you kill life, it causes an acute sense of separation because it's life. Of course, it will cause an acute sense of separation. You can't... But people, they try to say that the only thing that is real is the physical objects on the outside. Even if we know it's all psychology, we still do this. If I remove myself from something on the outside, I'd be fine. No, you don't. You won't. These are just like, I don't know, symbols from whatever is going on the inside. You can't change anything by changing something on the outside. So therefore it doesn't work. But this is the concept of humans when they think something will be resolved with killing. And this is another example. I don't know if I talked about that in my previous English videos, but it needs to be said again. If you have this idea of like a superhero, a fighter, that concept is actually a lie in itself. There is a reason why you can't be an immortal super fighter like the superhero movies. You can't be Superman. Because it would keep you here in limbo forever. The idea of Superman and why it feels safe is that no matter what is attacking you, and remember, attacking is a symbol for fear. And the best symbolic expression is, of course, the physical fight. That's the best symbolic expression of fear. Like if Jason is running at you with a knife, that is fear. A monster is coming at you, that is fear. A direct threat to your body, which you identify yourself with. Because you feel separated, you have to identify with a separated body. That's the best concept of fear. Right? An actual fight. So, the superhero can then just deflect it because he's a master fighter. No matter what comes at him, he will always be safe because he can always deflect it. But what if this is a fear, is an expression of something you really need to look at, and you keep fighting it off whenever it emerges in your life? And you never have to address it. What you have really done is fake. So you be like this fake hero. They raise a statue of you and they say, this is a great warrior, a great fighter. But it's a life of fear where you have to keep proving yours because you have to keep the status. But the status in itself is a lie. And you are feeling that someone will call your bluff and see you're not that of a good fighter or whatever. And your whole life and your whole security is resting on this identity that you can do this. And of course, it's just a psychological misconception that you feel falsely safe because you're a good fighter. But of course, even the best fighter could be killed in a battle, so it really doesn't exist such a thing as a perfect fighter. Except in the movies. Not in real life. But all is psychology. And I say this, and this is an asylum. And this trauma that we are dealing with is manifesting on the outside. So that's what's so cool with your life. It doesn't matter if it's you or if it's the president in some country. It doesn't matter who you are. Or if you are working in the shadow governments or whatever kind of person or celebrity you are. It doesn't matter. It's the same for everyone. With no exception. And the way you perceive other people is also affecting your life. If you watch a celebrity and you are perceiving them as different than any other human being, that problem is on you. And that is manifesting in your life because you are going to be judged by the same concept. in comparison to them. So on and on it goes with psychological concepts. And I really will be talking more about life, understanding it from this perspective. Because I realize I can go on and talk about the universe and other lifetimes and how it all can be perceived up there and whatever, and you don't die, and it's all these things are great. But I think where all knowledge that we can share with each other comes to real use is I really, really, really want to make it go through that you can do this yourself. And it's only you can do it. If the solution is to sing, like I can force you to sing, I can't make it, I can't sing for you. No one can. Only you can. And only you can decide in which passion you will sing, if you will make it good or purposefully bad or whatever. It's only you. And you can do it. We're all in the same boat here. The principles that leading out of this is your own trueness to yourself. It was always that. It was always know yourself. Always. That stuff never changed. And because only in our moments when we are afraid, I guess we try to make it about something else. Can't I learn some other concept? Can I do this, and then I will be enlightened and free and I will feel happy? No, you have to face your fears and the separation. That's the only way out. So, I hope this gave some light, some hope, some encouragement that you can actually do this yourself. Doesn't matter who you are. You don't have to be anything certain. You don't have to read anything certain. You just have to be prepared to do it. So let this be some kind of Christmas hope and encouragement. And yeah, life becomes interesting and funny and doable in another sense when we start to see this connection. So the truth is, if you want to feel free for real, you first will have to seek discomfort. So if I would do you a really disfavor, I would say it like this. Look, I make you immortal. I make you immortal so that you will never age. I will just transform you into your best age and you will remain like that forever. You will never get sick and you will never get hurt. How does that sound? And for a moment, you're gonna feel great. That sounds great. I feel so calm. I feel so at rest. All the stress disappears. Yeah, because even aging and time is stress, is a distance, right? You're a distance towards how long you're gonna live, how much time you have left before you get older and older and more tired, right? More and more successful. I mean, everything's going to decrease the older and older you get. Even that is a weird separation, pain, and fear. I'm going to remove all that. You're immortal. You are in your perfect age. I'm even going to make you super beautiful. And I'm going to keep adding things. No matter where you travel and go, everyone is going to love you. They're going to welcome you. Wherever you turn up, they're going to welcome you and love you. I add more to this. You're going to have endless of money. Money's never going to be a problem. You never have to think about money again. Never. Anything else? I'm gonna make so that you can never get lost. Because now you are traveling around in the world and you have no limitations because everyone loves you and nothing bad can ever happen to you. You will just keep on experiencing things and get people's admiration. You will never be able to be lost. No matter where you are in the world, you're just gonna feel like in a sense exactly where you are so you can always navigate freely, everywhere. This sounds good, right? I will be doing you a disfavor because you will never confront truth. So therefore, the spiritual path is easy in a sense because it's very straightforward. But it's not easy if you just want to avoid pain. Avoid what scares you. Then it's difficult. But it's not really dangerous to face this pain. And it's only pain because you feel it's a separation. And it will lead to separation, which it will not. So if you are brave, and if you dare to have a look, And if you wonder, how do I go about having a look? Because your fear is manifesting in your life all the time. So you can take any of the stuff that you are afraid of right now and start there by removing the sense of fear and removing the distance. And you're gonna start figuring out the way to do that. And it will lead to answers. Bit scary, but it will lead to answers. It always does. So I hope that feels better, feels good, and I see you soon again. Till then, have a very great Christmas and New Year's Eve. Bye.